What do you think that Circe can tell us about climate change and its impacts?
I think well, the scientific community has finally understood that we cannot tackle this kind of wide-scale studies without merging knowledge from different disciplines. And in a way, Circe has been a very, very complex project in this respect, because people has a tendency to work according to chapel spirits in a way, while we are all working in different disciplines. So trying to break the walls between disciplines is very, very difficult. But when you start to enable people to speak to each other and to work together, the achievement at the end of the day will be much more credible. And I think that it's what Circe is showing, that integrating knowledge from different disciplines will bring, in fact, an assessment that will be certainly more considered in terms of credibility by the policymakers and stakeholders.
How do you think that these things that Circe bring up can be of interest, of like a suggestion for policymakers and stakeholders at the European level?
EU climate policy is in full development, so that the DG Climate Action is deriving, in fact, EU climate policy adaptation and mitigation for the future years. So Circe will bring, in fact, a knowledge base for discussions that are ongoing at EU level. But well, I would like to say that for the perspective in which, in fact, which I've followed more precisely in the water area, I would say, including flood and drought. Here, the EU water policies, including the flood directive and drought policies, are actually ongoing and are establishing planning and program of measures that will have to take into account climate change impact and climate change related knowledge. And in this respect, all the knowledge base brought by Circe will be directly usable by all Mediterranean countries that have to tackle, in fact, climate change adaptation and mitigation at the river basin scale. So this will be very important indeed.
One thing that came out from the Circe project is that we cannot stop to the geographical concept of Europe when you think about climate change and its impact. Do you think that in this way Circe helped to consider the European continent linked with Northern Africa and Middle East?
We have no choice but to involve these countries if we want to have a clear view of the Mediterranean situation. And also, well, it's not the way that Europe would tell to Northern African countries what to do, but to share knowledge, because they have gained knowledge about, for example, water scarcity issues and drought that might be useful for European countries as well. So it's a kind of sharing knowledge and to try to have a kind of common approach that is for the Mediterranean that is ongoing. Now the problem is that we are tackling that from the research side. So we have indeed international cooperation projects that are ongoing. How will it be reflected into policy and political will? It is another story.